Seoul has recently launched the Hangang bus, which takes people from Magok all the way down to Jamsil. But we've had some hiccups along the way. Let's talk about it. First of all, Seoul launched its new Hangang bus, which is the river ferry, of course, with high hopes, but within days, technical failures and political flames have broken out. People are not happy about it, and there's some behind-the-scenes stuff going on that's making things worse. First, when it launched, which was on September 18th this year, it connected Magok and Jamsil along 7 different piers with about 14 scheduled runs per day. This costs a lot of money. I believe it was 150 billion won, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The Seoul city government emphasized the eco-friendly nature of the vessel, calling them safe, eco-friendly means of public transportation and promising improvements through public feedback. This is from the official Hangang website, the Hangang bus website. Park Jin-young, head of the Seoul's future Hangang division, apologized for inconveniences, saying, "I apologize for the inconveniences to the citizens," which is not enough in this case because the nature of the inconvenience is much steeper than this, and we'll talk about that in a second. The first problem was the safety failures, and this is the one we'll see in the news a lot, is there was several little issues that just piled up over time. The first of which was there were some critical malfunctions actually, where 2 vessels experienced rudder failure and electrical glitches. Now, this wasn't going to cause harm to the people taking the bus. However, it did strand people. I think it stranded around 100 people, during peak hours, which then upset their schedules. They had to cancel things or reschedule things, and that's a little bit more than an inconvenience. But, of course, this can be fixed. The next one is the Korea Times reported that equipment access was obstructed, and safety gear like fire extinguishers lacked recent inspection records. For something that's so new, that's a little surprising, right? That the inspections weren't done as soon as it opened. It feels like an oversight, which can be remedied, of course. One Seoul city official defending the project described the errors as minor and natural in early phases. That's understandable. They said the recent issues were minor technical and electrical errors that can occur during the optimization stage. I can understand that. However, there are more issues than just these minor mechanical failures, and we'll also talk more about that in a minute. However, I feel like the early phase optimization is what you do before you release it to the public. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Critics were less forgiving. Park Soo-bin, who's a spokesman for the Seoul Metropolitan Council's DPK member, sharply criticized the launch, calling it a reckless project for mayoral achievement at the expense of public safety. I have no opinion on this directly, but that's a pretty sad state of affairs whenever this kind of criticism from a major figure is so sharply pointed, right? But the citizen backlash and the public opinion, that's where things get a little bit more unhappy. An online forum, like I looked on Reddit and some other places, and they had some pretty strong reactions. One on Reddit said, "Such a waste of precious taxpayer money that should have instead went to helping out village buses in Seoul," which is a whole nother controversial topic happening now in Seoul. And I don't want to say I agree or disagree in this, but I do want to say that it does feel a little strange that it costs so much money to institute this new ferry, and yet there's so many minor errors that could be easily caught by just an inspection. One said that there was 150 billion won spent to transport a measly 25,000 passengers in 10 days. That's a pretty sad number. However, we can't say that 150 billion only does 25,000. That's not fair. Over time, it will do a lot more. It wasn't 150 billion won to run the ferry for 10 days. So a little unfair, but I understand the sentiment. Other critics call it a vanity project, a showpiece rather than a functional infrastructure. And the length of time it does take for the boat to get from Magok down to Jamsil you can just take line 2 usually and get there faster, or around the same amount of time. Of course, it's not beautiful, and of course, it's a different experience. And the Hangang River tour, like the river buses, will bring tourists. Like it will. It itself probably won't make money enough to pay off its running cost. However, the tourism increase, and in those areas where the piers are located, there can be a change in like how tourists move around the city. This could be a benefit, but it's one we can't see yet because it's down the road. And of course, this is all speculation. Please, I'm just speculating, you know. Meanwhile, on social media, via Seoul's global supporters page, some reviews were more positive. Residents praised the river view and the scenic appeal. And that's I think, pretty true. I've seen several people think it's a very interesting and fun ride, especially for the cost. It's quite cost effective. I believe it's only like 3,000 won or 5,000 won. Much cheaper than renting a boat and going around in the river, which can cost you 50,000 won or more. And for the length of the ride, it's usually going to be 50,000 to like 70,000 or more just to take a personal boat to do it. And that's if you're lucky, right? All right. So the public mood is really sharply divided right now. There's people that are excited about the novelty versus those worried about safety. However, the controversy really starts whenever it got suspended. It suspended, I think, like 2 or 3 days ago, because I had planned to go and actually try it and make a video about it so I could show you guys. And I was excited to do that. I like the river. I've went wakeboarding on it a few times, and it's enjoyable. And I thought it would be fun to take the boat and just experience Seoul's like view in the daytime. And unfortunately, I won't get to do that for now until they resume runs. But that's okay. As long as it's working well, that's more important than enjoying something that's potentially hazardous. They suspended it for 1 month, so sometime in October we should get it back, shifting to no passenger trial runs. So they're just running through the process of going back and forth without passengers on board to test safety and to make sure of any sort of failings in their system. They pledged refunds for affected riders, which there's probably not many unless there's booking. I actually am not sure. I'll have to look into that, if there's a booking tickets for it or not. The city framed the decision this way. This comes from the Star. Although each issue was immediately resolved, we believe passenger safety must come first. We therefore decided to conduct extended trial operations under real conditions to ensure safe and stable services. So what's next? What's the risks? This project, this is according to, this is a quote. This project is more than a scenic ferry. For Seoul, it's a statement about modernization, sustainability, and how public funds are used. Failures here carry reputational risks. And yeah, that especially for locals. I believe tourism and tourists in general will probably forgive this because they're not as aware or attached to its daily operation. However, locals, especially those that actually want to use it or are more online in the online sphere of like helping promote things in Seoul, may find this a bit more upsetting. If trust is lost, ridership may plummet. True. If procurement problems are proven, there could be political fallout. Also true, because this is not free. The essential test now: can the city transparently fix these defects, hold accountability, and win back public confidence? That will be the test we will see in the future. That being said, I look forward to trying the boat in October if it opens then. And I will probably make a video and try and see what the view actually looks like. Of course, maybe we've all seen it already anyway, but it will be very fun to see it from a new perspective. And I'd like to see the quality of the ride as well, and the time it takes, etc. So, if you guys would like to see that in the future, or if you have some comment on how the ferry has affected you or people around you, please leave it in the comments down below. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. That really helps me out. It lets me know if you like this kind of content or not. But yeah, Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope that the buses get started up again soon so we can all give it a shot. All right, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.